Alright, welcome to the Indie Bandits Twitch channel and YouTube channel. We're back with another episode of the Medieval 2 Total War World Domination. I'm Jimmy and I'm here with Joe.
Hello.
And we start, well, action-packed start straight away. This was one of the battles that we were faced with last time when we ended the stream, where we're getting attacked by Denmark. So we're just going to jump straight into this and see if we can defend Nottingham with pretty much half the men that Captain Henrik's decided to come over and attack us with. Did you do your research after last time, Joe? Was there a Humphrey of Northampton and a Henrik of Denmark?
I didn't look up if there was a Humphrey of Northampton. I totally forgot about that, but I have done some. I did a bit of research on what would have happened in real life. So,
all right.
Henry I's son William died in 1120 on the White Ship on a trip back over from Normandy, and they had another classic, which I see a running theme here. I guess a crisis of succession, is it called? I guess when they just don't know who's in charge next, because
it's just any day in the Middle Ages.
Yeah, basically. So apparently he wasn't that bothered by it, and he just took his time. And 6 years later, he named his daughter Matilda as an heir. Spoiler alert, that's probably not going to stick. And in 1027, Pope John it says Pope John the 19th. Oh no, that's 1027. I'm 100 years in the past. Don't worry about it then. Ignore that. I forgot what century we're in. No, I've already seen these guys. So yeah, we had this crisis of succession and Matilda got named, but I do remember that that didn't stick because people didn't think a woman could run the show, essentially. That was the... I feel that's very medieval.
It feels a little bit medieval, yeah.
Yeah, but I'll see if Humphrey of Northampton existed. I mean, there's definitely a Humphrey.
Probably in Northampton.
Well, there's apparently... I know, it's a bit later. There was a Humphrey de Bohun, Bohun, 2nd Earl of Northampton, but that wasn't until the 14th century, so probably not the same one, unless he's a time-travelling Earl. But yeah,
which we're all hoping he kind of is. That would be fun.
That would be cool. It would be an unexpected twist. Now, I'm obviously no expert in history, you know that. This is sort of the point of this series, but I feel I would have remembered a time-travelling middle-age Earl. Medieval Middle Ages Earl, because a Middle Age Earl would just mean he's like in his 40s, I guess. He could be both.
He could be both.
That could be his midlife crisis. He just goes, you know what? Ferraris haven't been invented yet, nor of sports cars, so I guess I'll just time travel instead.
I'll
that old
become
chestnut.
A time-traveling Earl. Why not?
Time-traveling Earl. I think he was an Earl. Yes. The sixth Earl of Hereford.
All right.
And it also says that hurricanes hardly ever happened there. Does not say that, obviously. Yeah. Also, today is this is not a medieval thing, but today is apparently Purple Day, which is a grassroots event to raise awareness of epilepsy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say of the colour purple for a second. I was like, that would be that'd be a pointless day, that one. The epilepsy one definitely has more meaning than...
The epilepsy one does have more meaning, but I would also like to argue, I don't think purple gets enough credit. I think
possibly not. Maybe you could take it up on a different...
a lot of the primary colours get the...
They do hog all the limelight, don't they?
The deal. Oh, how welcome to the chat, Rudan.
What is Iwakon Day? International... I'm stuck on after international.
Indie World Order Con, if I'm not mistaken. But we are creatures of habit, Rudin. So we have exactly. Yes, that was right. It's Indie World Order Convention. But we're creatures of habit, so we do our thing.
Is that like an actual event?
So yeah, it's on for a few days, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
For some reason, this is not letting me. I've got a plan here, Joe. You can back up if you think this is a pretty good idea or not.
Is the plan not to lose, or is it just to
So
sit in the corner and wait for it all to blow over?
it
'Cause
is,
I'm
yeah.
happy
We're
with
just
that.
gonna hide and hopefully they'll just leave. No, we've got
Mhm.
guys coming up here in ladders, one over here in a siege tower, and then straight up the middle with the battering ram. I've only got 2 units of infantry here, so I can't be on the walls and on the ground at the same time. So instead, I'm just gonna let them come up and hope that the AI is stupid enough to run right up the middle here with
And
everything
not
it's got
flank you.
when it breaks in,
And
and
you
then
just
use all my cavalry to run round the back and just
and then
consistently cycle charge them in their rear.
ouch.
So that's what I'm going for. This is a hope that the AI is not great here.
Yeah,
But it
it
does
sounds
also mean
like
I
you're
can't
kind of
shoot them on the way.
300ing them, right? You're
Yeah,
just doing a 300 on them.
doing a Thermopylae.
Yeah, so Ruden in the chat says you can download the Indie World Order convention on Steam and play indie games like a virtual booth,
All right,
which is
that's cool.
which is quite cool. Yeah, we're currently in the middle of like sort of phasing over, I guess you talk about it. We have a sort of like sit down to powwow every 3 months to talk about what we do here on Indie Bandits. So as we're coming to the end of another quarter, we have a look at what we do, see what works and see what doesn't, and we're looking to hopefully in the next quarter sort of up the amount of streams we do, because I feel people get more out of our streams and that kind of stuff than some of the other stuff. So hopefully we'll focus that, and also I've had a few thoughts about streamlining our Discord as well, which I think that the Discord needs a bit of a cleanup, like these Danes might do to our to our poor troops in the town
Yeah,
centre.
it's not looking good, is it? There's a lot of them. Yeah.
As long as 2 to 1.
The enemy are battering down the gates.
All right.
I think as long as they can take down 2 for every 1 that arrives, that's the numbers, isn't it? We need to kill 2 for every.
We do, and if the spearmen can like hold on just long enough for the guys to, I don't know. Here they come. That's right. Funnel down the middle, guys.
Oh, nice! This is working out exactly as planned. Slow it down. I don't want to miss this.
Oh
Crack
no!
on.
What are they doing? What are you doing?
They need to get picked off by some knights.
Oh no! The spearmen.
Thanks, Rudan, in the chat saying, yeah, the YouTube's growing well. Everything's sort of like early days for us, but
We're
know,
quite time
we're
limited as
under-
well, aren't we? Like, this isn't our full-time stuff, so we have to be quite picky about like where we spend our time when we do this. That's the tricky aspect of it.
In an ideal world, like committing to this full time would be great. Maybe in the future we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's all still early days for us. So we just kind of take every day as it comes and just hope that we have something useful to put out there and some just like sustained growth with the channels, because the more we grow, the more we can celebrate indie games, essentially. Now, no, we're not playing an indie game here, but this is sort of mine and Jimmy's. I guess it kind of works sometimes as like a practice stream, doesn't it? It just allows us to
play around with
kind of like
streaming and see
format.
what people...
Yeah.
Oh, what on earth?
You didn't see them bring that up there, did you? Or
They got like.
did you just think let them come back down?
Look at this guy trying to run. He's like, "How mate? Get out of my way." All right, fine. I'll stand here then.
I'll just wait
Dick.
and see it off. Rudan, you're right. Yes, it is a passion project. It was I guess it was something. We've technically been doing this for a couple years, but it was only last year that we really started in like any kind of earnest, I guess. We had the website for like a year, and we just kind of like put stuff up on that just to see if this kind of thing worked, because I just thought that there was not a lot of stuff to like look for indie games. Obviously, as I started to do more with this. We sort of like discovered more things, and there is like a nice indie game community out there, but there's
there's
still
a good community, but we don't feel that the
there's still
games
not
get
the
quite
oomph.
the
Yeah.
they don't get the recognition they deserve, do they? Considering that we're talking about people who are creating games on like almost no budget half the time, and
No budget.
it's
no
already difficult
time
enough. Yeah,
no
to like
team.
how do you compete against AAA and mainstream games when with that is the case, and it's almost impossible. So that's why we came up with this.
There's also, I mean, we've spoken about it a few times on like podcast episodes as well about indie devs trying to market. I guess I think the biggest weakness I've found when we look into this kind of thing is just like, you know, no offense to most people, but indie devs are not marketers, and
No,
like my
that does seem
background's
to
in
be a
marketing. Jimmy's day job is in business. You know, when I'm not going to go out there and say we're like marketing experts, but we know a thing or two about it, and it's and I can imagine a lot of devs just don't have the time or the like spare brain capacity with how much they're focusing on their game to realize how like important their marketing is.
Yes,
and
actually, I
we
don't know.
give them a little boost.
I retweeted something the other day from a guy called Rand. Oh shit! I keep forgetting about them. Apologies.
Rando shit. It's the Irish.
A guy called Rand Fishkin, who ran a very successful SEO company years ago called Moz. And he's actually quite
they
a
still
big
exist, don't they? I've
do,
used
yeah.
them for what's it? Domain.
Domain authority.
What's the word? Domain authority. Thank you. Yes, I have the toolbar. I have to use that sometimes in the day job to check which sites are good. Yeah, I'm familiar with Moz and what they do.
Well, he's obviously, you know, extremely knowledgeable about a lot of things to do with marketing and SEO, and he's also a big indie games fan, as it turns out.
Who isn't? I think there's two types of people: those who love indie games and those who haven't discovered them yet. But
yeah, I don't know what happened here. Everyone seemed to get killed instantly the second I asked them to chase down those horsemen. Anyway, he tweeted the other day that his advice is that indie game developers really need to be considering marketing at the creation stage of their game, because if you're getting to the point where you're releasing your game and then considering the marketing, you're fighting, you know, a battle that's almost impossible to win. Basically, yeah, you have to consider it before you even, I guess, start bringing out your indie game or considering your indie game, because it's one of those things that's crucial. If you don't sort the marketing out, you know, people don't find out about your game. If people don't find out about your game, people don't buy your game, and then
exactly
you run into a lot of issues at that point.
Well, there's also this kind of trap, because I can only imagine from like a dev side, you sit down and go, well, I'm not going to think about marketing yet because I've got X, Y, and Z to fix in my game, or I've got to do this and I've got to do that, and I'll tell people about it when I'm getting close to finishing it. And it's like, yeah, you don't want to get like a couple of years down the line and put your heart and soul into something and then realize you haven't built up any kind of marketing momentum ready for the release, because then you've essentially set up your lemonade stand in the middle of the desert by doing that. And I don't mean a busy desert, because that would probably kind of work, I guess. If you're selling refreshing beverages in a very hot place, that would
probably be all right.
treat.
You'd be doing all right if you set up a lemonade stand in the desert. Yeah.
In a busy desert, obviously.
Especially
you need the footfall, don't you? You need the people going past. The foot traffic, I think, is the term they like to use.
Mm-hmm.
But you make a point about social media. Social media is a tricky beast. I think you probably deal with more social media in the day job than I do, James. But obviously, just from running the like the stuff, well, obviously my own social media channels for my day job and the stuff for Indie Bandits, it is like sometimes you've just got to kind of hope and hit. I mean, you you'd be surprised sometimes where you think that like this is gonna work, this is gonna work, this is gonna work, and it doesn't. But you've got to obviously change up the message. It's never guaranteed to work, obviously, but all you can do is I guess you've got to just stay on top of it, don't you, with social media. Are you reading Senku Fam's message as well?
I'll say Senku that there was a lot of horses at the start of this fight, but they're all.
You know what?
They've all gone to
just
sleep.
Missed them. You've just missed them. There's a lot of horses having a nap.
They're all just having a nap, and yes, we got him. I thought that was us. My God, if we do this one, by the way, I'm just quitting now. We're ending the stream now. No,
the winner.
Run back this way. There was a lot of horses down here as well. Although I'm pretty sure these all got like instantly deleted. They were in pretty good health for like for a couple of minutes, and then all of a sudden they just weren't.
Yeah, and if I had wheels, I'd be a car. They were in pretty good health. That's sort of changed for them now.
Oh no! Don't rout. We're
also
doing
going
so
back
well.
To another message Room was talking about. At the minute, we're thinking about putting the podcast is going to have to be on hiatus and for a bit because of like we're saying, like day job and the amount of time we can actually commit to stuff. And one of the problems with the podcast is we obviously wanted to get people on. That would have been cool, but we can barely find times to prep and put the whole thing together with us. So committing to guests and things like that on the podcast would be such an organizational nightmare, especially if you can't get the hosts together for the podcast. How can you get the guests together? I think was sort of the issue. So for the next quarter at least, we're going to put the podcast on hiatus. But at times when we would have been pausing the podcast, we're recording the podcast. Sorry. We'll probably be looking to stream then, so it allows us to, I guess chat the same nonsense, except it doesn't have the editing and all that afterwards. So by streaming, I guess we can sort of output the same kind of things we were doing on the podcast, whilst you just have something to look at, and also more interaction from the community, which is what we're really after. A podcast is very one directional, and I think we've sort of found that the streams are better for what we're trying to do with nurturing a community. So having people to talk to is much better than us just recording to ourselves. So for the time being, we're hoping to just double down on the streams and really start showcasing indies. He says as we play a 15-year-old game made by a AAA studio, but you know what we mean.
We'll get onto some indie game streaming where we'll do some campaigny type stuff. We've discussed a few games.
Well, this was our trial to see if we could do a long form recurring stream, because we do like playing an indie game and trying to there's just so many out there, so you want to try and.
There goes Humphrey, Joe. That's Humphrey there.
Well, I told you he didn't exist.
He doesn't exist anymore.
Rudin says it's understandable. Hopefully after COVID is over, we can celebrate and send over a key. Yeah, well, hopefully, man. Before this all started, we even had a dream to record our podcast all in the same place. We've always actually recorded remotely, which was kind of fortunate. I guess a happy accident for us.
Yes.
When you listen to a lot, when I remember at the start of all this COVID nonsense, hearing a lot of podcasters going, right, we're going to try and work this out, but we're not in the same room. And I'm like, we've never been in the same room. We've had to do it remotely like we are now. But we did have I think it was our third ever episode. We were planning to do it from a villa in Spain. That would have been that was planned to be a month after all the lockdowns happened. That was April of last year, wasn't it? It was April or May. We'd planned
it was going to be around then. Yeah, it's bloody hell.
April or May.
Quick.
Would have been start of May, because I was planning. I had that trip to Japan. So Humphrey of Northampton. Well, that's why you don't exist. Don't.
Humphrey no longer exists. We've lost.
Humphrey versus Henrik. And,
yeah, Rudin. It was going to be like a Scarface-esque cocaine
Yeah,
binge.
sat around the pool. We were gonna say. I mean, I don't know how it would have worked because we would have like recording it would have been fine. We even thought like I'm sure we talked about like streaming or even like I guess pre-recording some game content there as well. But like, maybe playing like Overcooked by the pool or something like that. But yeah, maybe some other time.
Yeah.
Though I can't complain because I'm actually based in southern Spain, so really it's the villa's a step up from my apartment, but yeah, it would have been nice to have all the indie bandits in one place to see how the whole podcast would have went in that kind of scenario. Few beers, pool, mountains of cocaine.
Might not have been a good time to do a live stream though.
With mountains of cocaine, just like
Might have
don't
been
ignore that powder. don't worry about that.
Might have been a bit messy.
Energy would have been good though.
Oh yeah.
Without question, sire. Tomorrow's journey plan.
Yeah, it is a good film. It's a good film as long as you don't take it seriously. There's no way I defy anybody to watch Scarface and be like, this was like a serious, like amazingly well crafted piece of cinema. It's just pure entertainment.
Not is it a spoiler alert? No, but you hear it. I guess newsflash. You heard it here first. I've never seen it. Never seen it.
Oh, Joe, you gotta watch it for the terrible '80s soundtrack alone.
Well, I probably don't think it is terrible. I love 80s
No,
music.
it's like someone made that soundtrack on a budget. I'm not kidding. It's
good. Also, I haven't seen Carlito's Way, even though Rudin says Carlito's Way is really good as well.
Yes, Your Highness.
I'm sure you have. You're a bit of a cinephile, aren't you?
You know what? I haven't seen Carlito's Way, no.
No?
I do like my cinema.
See, I don't know if I have the attention span for it. Well, I don't have the attention span for it. There's I need to be involved. I guess like this is why games work for me. Like even like this, the interaction can keep me involved. Are we getting sieged by the French at Rennes, or was he just like waving his sword at us to offer us a ceasefire?
Denmark won a ceasefire after taking Nottingham. I do not think so.
We're not letting that slide, are we?
I don't know what the medieval term for sod off is, but that's what I'm saying to them right now.
I think it's sod, but it's
Very well.
with like an E on the end of both. Just SODEOFFE. That I feel with with a lot of wiggly cursive writing. I mean, I guess like the
Soddeth
the
off.
writing of this.
Good sir.
Thou dost sod off.
Right, what do we do? Sanguinaire. Oh god, we don't have a lot going on here.
We needed to chin the French, didn't we? But are the Spanish and Portuguese still
I
attacking
feel like
us?
we
'Cause
have problems at home at the minute. We have to sort this.
Oh, we have to get
nonsense
Nottingham
out.
back, don't we? Oh,
We
I
do.
guess we can't see Nottingham because of the whole like not having it thing. Didn't realize the fog was that thick. And I don't mean just in England in general. You know what I mean? I mean the fog of war in this game. It's like they don't let you see out, do they?
If you don't control it, you don't see it.
But if you build towers, you can. I think you can see better.
You
That's what my
can watch
advisor
towers
told me on
and
my game.
forts as well. You can build a fort. So what's quite good in this game is there are like natural choke points on the map. So if you know
like those
someone's
mountain
coming
ranges by
from
the
like
Alps.
here, for example, you know someone's coming down here, you can build forts and you can garrison those forts so you can actually keep invading armies well away from your own territory by. So Northern Italy has like essentially a natural defense system.
Is it called Switzerland?
Yeah, Switzerland and the mountains.
Yeah, I mean,
Obviously, you've got what would be the hot gates right here, but they're not actually in the game. It's a shame. That would be kind of cool if they put that in there.
Rudin asks if we've got Command Conquer StarCraft 2.
Oh my god, yes we do.
Right, StarCraft 2 I never played. I did play quite a bit of StarCraft back in the day, and Command and Conquer was growing up was mine and Jimmy's jam. Like
Oh yeah,
that and Mortal Kombat.
the soundtrack.
Primary
Red
school.
Alert 2.
Right, Red Alert. Oh Jesus, yes.
Oh my god.
Hell March and all that stuff. Look,
So good.
those games were dope. But remember the still are. But do you remember the first Command and Conquer? This was something that would happen in primary school. You had it on PC.
Yeah.
I had it on PlayStation. PlayStation you weren't allowed to save games on it. You just got a password between missions, even
You
on
had to
campaign.
complete the level, didn't you?
Yeah, and the number of times, because you were able to save mid-battle, and you'd come into school and be like, yeah, I beat that mission. I'm like, I didn't have time. My PlayStation was around my nan's house, remember? And I used to have to, and I'd go to my nan's house after school until I got picked up by my mum after she finished work. So I'd play it, and then like not get to the end, because, you know, I was probably at my nan's for like 90 minutes to 2 hours. Some of those missions in the original Command Conquer were not short enough for me to beat,
No.
and you were running away with the game. I remember every day, like, and you've got this one, yeah. I'm finishing it. I'm like getting close to finishing Nod's campaign. I'm like, I'm still stuck on like mission 4 because it's too long. Like, did Westwood not think that Joe might have to leave his nan's after 90 minutes? I've also got to have me dinner, you know, which
You're
was
not allowed that,
always
Joe.
Sunday lunch. You remember around me nan's, she just cooked Sunday lunch every day.
Always
So
a Sunday
every dinner-
lunch.
Every dinner after school was essentially veg and gravy, like meat, veg and gravy. Proper footy is it's like proper food.
Well, you
Ruben
could
says
save on the N64.
On the N64. Maybe because did they not have the little like memory unit in the controller for because it just didn't have the save functionality even with a memory card on the PlayStation, which is a shame.
That is a shame, because
But,
what a game, though. What a game.
My cousin's got the you know, the first Red Alert. They had that and the link cable for that PlayStation's. Their present 1 year for Christmas was the link cable to link, and we had 2 fucking portable tellies set up in one of the living rooms on Christmas Day, like back to back, so they couldn't see each other and screen watch. And I was just like circling the 2, you know, like a boxing commentator kind of thing, just like walking around, like getting the angles. I'm like seeing one cousin's base, seeing the other ones, and they're like, has he got this? Has he built this yet? Has he got the super? I'm like, I can't tell you. You know, that's cheating. That's like screen watching. But yeah, it was oh, that was amazing. Like some of the first time, like a proper like multiplayer experience that wasn't like you couldn't screen watch or anything like that. It was a real battle of the minds. I mean, we'd probably watch it now and be like, oh god, we were so shit at these games.
So
And Rudin
much
says
fun,
you could
though.
save onto the cartridges on the N64.
Right. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
look at that, man. We've got that set on fire.
Did you set fire to the battering ram?
Well, I mean, I didn't intentionally do it, but it's happened.
What was an accident? Or are you going to swap insurance details with them now? Just tell
I'm
them.
going to have
sorry.
to. I was like, yeah, sorry, mate. That's not my fault. I tell you what, let's have a battle here, and the loser pays the repair fee. That's what we're going to
with
do.
their life.
I reckon. Look at that. As soon as I said mention there's going to be a battle, they're like, sod that. We're France.
Hello, Taranum. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that right or wrong. And hello, Long Play Games. Welcome.
I do
and
like a good
Taranum,
siege.
We love a
Taranum.
good siege.
As long as I'm the
We
one
all love
behind
a
the
good
walls firing the arrows at the French, then I'm all for a good siege. Don't want to be
long as you've
on the
stocked up.
receiving end of them Danes again. That was they were a bit too harsh. They'd worked it out. They decided, let's have more men than the defending army has. The French haven't
Yeah,
figured
not
that
like
one out
this-
yet.
Not like the Spanish last time round. Spaniards last time round, just mugs game. They rocked up with nothing, didn't they? They just
They did, eh? Look, these guys are all bound up the ladder. This is not gonna work.
they are
These
not gonna
poor
have
devils
time
with their
this,
little.
are they?
Look at them, little. I don't know what that would
Someone
be.
should
Like a little
someone
peeler?
should mod this so you've got like some CNC stuff in it as well. I'd love a bloody like Tower of Nod or Obelisk or whatever. Just laser a few guys off the ramparts.
Yeah. Just to answer Taranum's question, not really, no. They're a little bit better, but they still tend. Oh, look at this fella! Look at him! Can everyone see him on the right? He is not even climbing up that ladder. He was just floating up there. No, they're not much better. No,
Ramparts.
they make similar mistakes where they run down the same corridor. They go to places they shouldn't go. I was saying to Joe early on, and this is what's going on?
they
Why
come
are the
back
guys firing fire arrows now? I don't think I said
Why are they
that.
climbing back down? By the way, is that
Maybe they don't fancy it anymore.
change
But
their
they,
mind? It's
yeah,
too cold.
if you've got enough if you have enough missile units to defend a city or a castle, you're probably going to be all right. It doesn't really matter what attacks you, except later in the game when something happens, which I'm not going to spoil because we'll hit to it, so we will get to it, where a certain army invades Europe, and they're a little bit better. They've figured it out.
Ruben says there's a GDC talk about how they did the AI for Total War. If you can find that and share that in the chat, that'd be pretty cool. I think some folk would probably be interested in some of that crack on.
I will say to Taranum that they've definitely the AI is not a million miles better, but in the latest Total War games, it's like orders of magnitude better than it is in these early ones, for sure. So if you're into Total War, check out some of the newer titles.
GDC, this AI is terrible, let's present it. I hope that's the name of the talk, Rudin, when you find it. This AI is terrible, here's how we made it terrible. I mean, maybe it's one of these things where you could put it like into law and go, you know what, just people weren't as smart back then, they hadn't had as many millennia of war, so you know, we've learned as we went on. You know, in the same way like modern footballers are like, you know, you could argue they're better than previous ones. I mean, like, but you also got to argue older footballers grew up in a different time where the game was different, etc., and we didn't have all this like sports science. I'm thinking back in the day that, you know, maybe some strategies weren't as good. Maybe that's why the AI isn't good, because medieval strategies weren't as good. Who knows? I mean, they're all hanging out on this wall.
Everyone's having a great time on the wall.
Yeah. When people could get this close together and well, I mean,
I know this wouldn't pass.
This is more
I
deadly.
don't know. This is a mess up here, isn't it?
Yeah, they don't know which way to go.
Well, these guys are screwed. I mean, I would not. You wouldn't want to be this fella, would you? Like, you can see on both sides your mates are getting slaughtered, and you're like, oh dear, I'm in the middle.
I'd be like, do you need to push? Because there's no barrier here. Or someone could fall off and seriously hurt themselves.
And if you ping it over the wall here, you're just gonna get all these just waiting for you. Like, all right, shoot them.
Oh man, they are ready to shoot.
They're in a good position up there. Who are these coming back? Fancying another go? Armored sergeants. Oh, he got one in the face.
Rune asks if you can zoom in, but Longplay also has an interesting point. This year's GDC had big sound on a budget, and it was about getting like 60 hours of orchestra music by traveling all over Europe and putting together 40 to 80 seat symphonies to make the music for your little game. I mean, I guess with that point, Longplay, maybe they were like,
oops, I did not mean to do that.
Traveling with Ryanair and not actually paying the 40 to 80 seat symphonies. I mean, it's very cheap if you don't pay them. And I mean, I guess you could like bus it around. Well, you know what? Your budget's unlimited if you don't pay for anything. If you bus around Europe, just buy an Interrail ticket. I mean, you know, buy an Interrail ticket for 3 weeks. Well, about 700 quid. Don't know, 700 quid, $1,000 maybe.
Possibly,
don't know how much they are anymore. It's been a while since we did the Interrailing, but I mean, we didn't do it to put together an orchestra soundtrack for an independent
that just happened
game.
by accident.
That was by accident because we just kept meeting these orchestras, recording them and not paying them. Yeah, Longplay says everyone was complaining in the comments about what do you mean budget? Yeah, I mean, it is nice, like obviously for certain people, like advice, you know, this kind of advice is probably quite useful, but obviously for a lot of people, it's like what is what is on a budget for someone is like well beyond the means, especially for certain indie devs.
Oh yeah.
When I mean, I've seen so many things where like just like shopping online, and you're like looking for something, and you're like, oh man, I need this. I'll look up this article, the 5 best budget whatevers graphics cards, for example, and you're like, oh, these are these people have a completely different idea of what I meant. I was hoping like someone would maybe give me one for free or spend 50 quid, and they're like, here's some budget graphic cards for like $1,000 each, and you're like, phew, yeah, this is not the information I'm looking for. And the number of times you like I'm like, you can go cheaper.
Yeah, that's a good point, that last one.
The 5 best budget cards, and the cheapest is the price of a Kia. The car.
Yeah.
I mean, do they go for 7 years? Is that still Kia's thing? Their cars have like a 7-year warranty on them.
Oh, I've no idea.
Don't think graphics cards come with.
I was half considering putting together a PC build this year, but not a chance right now. Not a chance.
Well, I told you how badly it went for the lass when
Oh yeah.
started putting together a PC for her, and it didn't have to be powerful in any way. It was just because with all the COVID stuff, she'd started working from home, and I was putting together a cheap PC build. It literally needs to do nothing. It was the cheapest of everything. It just needed to run Office. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
put that together, but we waited because I'd put the theoretical build together, and I just had to pull the trigger on buying the parts, and then I ordered everything, and then the processors disappeared, essentially. Like, the vendor clearly didn't have them or sold them off, or so the prices went up and cancelled my order for the processor, and then we had that whole, like, chip disappearance. You know, like, processors are nowhere to be seen at the minute, and if they are, they're, like, double the price. So this, like, 300 euro PC build ended up being like 600 euros by the time I had to like pay the extras for the only available processors that would fit the build I was working with. That was the problem. You had to match the whole socket type for the motherboard to the processor I was buying, and there was just none of them around. So yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare, but Ruden's got a point. A few of their friends used to build their own, or used to and started rolling in money. I guess you don't build your own PCs once you've got enough money to just buy expensive pre-built ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thing is, back in the day in secondary school, I had my PC that was with me. I think I had the same PC for about 15 years. Obviously, it changed so much that at the end of that 15-year period, there wasn't like any of the original parts on it. But it was one of these things that had just like evolved over time. But we used to go to computer fairs, which I don't think are a thing anymore. But they used to have these like, I think it all fell off the back of a lorry. Like you'd go in and there'd be in the leisure centre, you know, which is I mean, for American, it's a leisure centre. What do they call? What do they call leisure centres? I mean, not leisure centres. What are they called? You know, where you go do
rec centres?
Sport. Rec centres. You know, where you play like indoor football or basketball, like these sports with a swimming pool and that. You'd every so often just have one of these things where like a bit like a swap meet, I guess, but they were vendors. They were real shops that like would have a presence, and you'd just have loads of like computer components like RAM and processors, and they'd all be like weirdly cheap, like suspiciously cheap, I guess is the word you'd call me. Like, how are these people got all these components for so cheap? And
We've just been asked to join the crusade, Joe, so
in the chat.
That means that here we go.
The Bible may preach peace, but when it is Christendom itself
We've been asked to join now.
then it is every Christian's duty to defend all.
Yeah, Taranum says in the chat, not about joining a crusade, but about building a PC for the purpose of having like the customization to do it, which is obviously that's where you really make. I guess you don't make money from it, but you can get what you want by building it yourself. Whereas like years ago it used to be, it was cheaper to build it yourself. That was the thing, like having the knowledge, which you know, always argued was never the knowledge. It's basically like if it doesn't fit in the slot, then you're probably trying to put the component in the wrong place. even as a kid, like I worked that out. Like, you know, PCs are generally like built like Lego. So you can put, you know, if it doesn't work. But a lot of people like in the early noughties didn't know that, so would just go to like Curry's or PC World and like pay for these builds that were like sometimes like twice the price of what I could get. And in school, I used to charge people to build the PCs for them. Like I'd go to the, like that was my side hustle before side hustles were a thing. Go to the monthly computer fair, buy up the parts, and then, you know, ask someone for £100 to build the PC, which, you know, take you not long to put it together, like less than an hour, and then like an hour installing shit back in the day, because that's how long, and you know, formatting those old hard disks and crack on were. But you'd yeah, and I'd get my money. They'd buy their parts, and they'd be there with a PC that was a couple £100 cheaper than the one they wanted in the shop, same specs, etc., etc. But like now it's not. I don't think it is cheaper, because obviously everyone has just like the buying power. They can get the parts for cheaper. So I think someone in the chat mentioned something like a PC component shop kind of thing, like those kind of, yeah, PC specialist, Taranum said, lets you pick the components and they build it for you, so that then you get the freedom of choosing it. But they're like, obviously they get the parts so much cheaper because they're buying so many of them. You know, it's hard to compete with that now.
Right, I'm just trying to figure out. I'm pretty sure we can join. I'm trying to remember how you join a crusade. It has to be your faction leader.
No, William died, didn't he? Can you check your Rufus? He's the other William.
Doesn't have the
Is
same.
he not Rufus William?
Clout, does it? The name Rufus. It's not quite as. Oh, you have to. Okay, you have to have some units to join the crusade. All right, let's give him. Let's give him these 3. Right. Can you join the crusade?
If it's not too personal, Taranum, where you hailing from? Because we know Long Play is in New Mexico, if I'm not mistaken, and Ruden's down there. I'm not going to say it. Landon Town. You do a better southern accent than me, Jim.
Yeah, I'll leave
your mum's from down that neck of the woods, isn't she? Jimmy's half Londoner, but he won't admit it. I've just outed him on streams.
Yeah.
Just said he's half
I'm
Southerner.
from the north, man.
Man, we're outnumbered. We're outnumbered by people who can speak English. I was going to say, well, if you're from Cambridge, maybe you don't recognise the game, or you just recognise the actual history, because this is the reason we're doing it, because I don't know shit about history, and Jimmy does. Jimmy studied it for his degree, and, you know, has been a fan of this crack on and this kind of game for a long time. So I'm here sort of like learning, and between streams I go and play my game and hope I've learned something. So I know Cambridge is down south. I've heard of that.
I stayed overnight at Cambridge University once when I was in secondary school.
Didn't get in though, did you?
Actually, I qualified. I could have.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't even apply.
Chose not to though.
Chose not to. Chose to stick to Newcastle.
Said no.
No, don't want to go to your stupid uni. It's rubbish.
Only ranked number 1. Who cares about that?
Occasionally number 2. It's like depending on the subject. Oh no, you know fine well. I think in a previous stream, we were streaming The Witness. Archie and I, we were talking about how badly I did in my A levels, i.e. failing them. And you know what? The Newcastle Uni was still nice enough to contact me to say I hadn't got on the course when I needed like 2 A's and a B, and had nothing above a D. I remember you're right. The Witness is the Witness is a cool game. It was we had a good time, Archie and I, but it really hurt my head. It's a lot of very like trite puzzles, isn't it? If you played The Witness, James, it's just like you walk around in an environment.
That is an Archie game if ever I've heard one.
You like join dots on these puzzles, but it never tells you how to do the puzzles. You've just got to sort of like work them out by like the like environmental storytelling. It's very interesting. It is a very Archie game. That's his kind of crack on, and I do appreciate Longplay saying that I probably did it better than any American would. I wouldn't be too sure about that. I took a 6-week sabbatical from college, our type of college, not American college. I took a much longer sabbatical from American college, or university as we call it here. College, like I guess the last couple of years of high school in the US. I took a sabbatical because I discovered the pub. So this is something Americans don't have as much opportunity to do because you've got to be 21 to drink. But when you're
an ailment
18 is the
it causes problems for many young Brits.
But the good thing is we get that ailment out the way before we go to uni. I felt a lot of us were kind of done with the partying by the time we got to uni. And the kids from small towns who...
Although I did go on both your Freshers Week and the Newcastle Freshers Week.
Oh yeah, we would just attend each other's... Yeah, attend each other's...
Two Freshers Weeks.
They don't even do Freshers Week in the US, do they? I mean, it comes from the... It's not the same kind of thing, is it, culturally? It's very...
The enemy's
very weird.
ram has breached the gates.
Yeah, this is the Spanish, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got really heavily armored. I thought we were going to win this one, but like all of their units are like far better than ours, so this one might be.
How long plays what week? Freshers Week is your first week
it's
of
just
your
get
course.
drunk at university week, basically.
Tom Stade, the stand-up comedian, he's American, he's pretty funny. He did our... Remember, you came to that show, didn't you? Did we watch it? Where I'm sure you came to the stand-up show at all Freshers Week. It's just a week of drinking. Tarnum says some uni acquaintances were definitely not over the partying. Look, we were over a certain level of partying, is what I would say. Like we would, we were still going out. Don't get me wrong, but there were some people who came, like, on our course who came from smaller towns, and then found out they were like in the city centre of Newcastle. And this is more for long play, but other people from the UK will know Newcastle has a bit of a reputation for liking a drink, and an entire city centre that's sort of built around that idea. And if you come from a small town and then are suddenly like first time you're away from your parents, you're 18, you don't have like a curfew or a time to be home or whatever like that. Some people lose their minds with that freedom, especially the day your student loan comes into your bank and you're sat there with $3,000 in your account for the first time ever in your life, and no parents to tell you how much you can drink and where you can go, and you're old enough to do it. Some people don't get a lot of stuff done in their first year of uni. I didn't, but that was completely different reasons. And Longplay says, I've known enough Brits, Germans and Aussies through work to know Americans are super lightweights. I think there's also a different... I mean, we are bad binge drinkers, aren't we, in the UK?
Do like a drink.
We do, but I don't think it's the same way as...
Are they running away?
Are they gnashing?
I wasn't even paying attention. Look at these sodden off.
Are off.
Get off. Go on.
But
he's off, isn't he? Look at him.
I know of not the freshman 40, but we have a similar thing. But we also have the same thing for Erasmus. People put on weight when they go abroad. And I'm not getting back into whether British food is good or not, but when British students go to other countries, like I did when studying languages, you discover different food. Better is an argument for another day, but there is different food and you want to like try it all. So definitely weight gain occurs on a year abroad. I guess except with Americans who probably lose weight when they come over to Europe. And Taran had a good...
yes, it is. Yeah, likes a drink. Yeah.
Isn't likes a drink a trait that
generals can get? I don't know if you know this, Joe, but as in the game, if like your generals can earn traits throughout the game based on their activity, or in this case, inactivity.
And if you sit them in a town for too long?
If you leave them in a town with like a big brothel for too long, they earn like really bad traits. And likes a drink.
What constitutes a big brothel? Just out.
I can't remember what it's called. It's the one after you build the brothel.
Oh. Longplay says the Americans I know.
I hope you don't mean in like a
they died.
Yeah.
They weren't abducted, were they? Like,
Take the seriousness off the edge of this comment.
yes, please. We need to.
Yes, they do. Yeah. No, it's a clever
So if you
system.
build educational buildings, that they get better traits.
And if you fight a
I
lot of
assume
battles, they
they're
become
talking
better
generals,
at war, etc.
not
etc.
Americans.
Yeah.
Talking
Okay,
about
good.
generals and, yeah, and no, they just left and didn't come back. That's a common going abroad thing. Jimmy, you can vouch for that. You did come back, but
My
you brought one of them with
2 month
you.
holiday to Canada ended up being 2 years and brought back a person who became
Maybe
my
wife.
wife. Yeah.
Later on, it wasn't like you ordered her and went to pick her
I
up.
purchased her fair and proper. There was 17 cows in that transaction.
I was going to say meese. What's the plural of moose? Just moose, isn't it? It's like trade her for moose. Trade moose for her, I guess. You know what I mean? Something Canadian.
You kind of get away with trading moose over there. There's too many of them. I've tried beavers, moose, all sorts, but
Say that. Don't say I tried beavers in Canada.
they're like, now we've got enough of them. I was like, all right, okay. Here's a cow and a sheep then.
Well, welcome to Beavertown, Alberta. That probably exists, actually. You know what? Someone look that up on Google
There's a
Maps.
place in Alberta called Head Smashed In.
No.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, it used to be. It was named after, and we learned this. It's named after where they used to run buffalo off the edge of a cliff to kill them, and they named it Head Smashed In.
Nice. That is not fun for buffalo, I guess.
Not for the buffalo. Depends what
Do
you're
you know
into,
the
really.
difference? Do you know the? I can't even really say. You know the difference between buffalo and a bison, don't you?
No.
You can't wash your dishes in a buffalo. That's a fucking old one. I'm just waiting for like the stream to just end. Just
Is that an
Twitch is like,
Australian
nah.
joke?
You can't. I can't remember where I heard
It
this.
feels like
It's the
that would
same-
like the Australian.
It's the same. It's the same as the one where it's like hedgehogs. Why don't they just share the hedge? That won the Edinburgh Fringe one year. That was where I heard that one. That was a
I mean,
Fringe.
that's a solid joke, but that won an entire like thing dedicated to comedy. Oh, look at these! Look at them having it. Look at them!
thing
Like,
is,
oh, we'll
they
have them,
have
lads.
to be. They have
We'll
to
have them.
be one-liners.
No, you won't.
What was the other one? It's like I deleted all the Germans off out of my contacts. My phone's now hands-free.
That's a good.
That
one.
was I love those. Go find the article of like Edinburgh Fringe winning jokes, because they do one for every year. And obviously they're always one-liners because they have to publish them. You can't like publish a whole setup and sketch or show or whatever. So they're always really short and they're always really funny. Especially like Longplay says, of the dad joke ilk. These are
Oh, yeah.
these are certainly my faves.
Have you seen Tim Vine then, Joe? Tim Vine's like
Yes.
world record beating like 100 jokes in a minute thing.
I didn't see him. I didn't see the beating it, but I know Tim Vine because he does the
Dad
he
jokes.
does all the one-liners and dad jokes and stuff like that. And we bought my granddad one of his books with all the one-liners, and my granddad said he hated it. He was like, "Oh, they're all just so stupid. They're all stupid." Oh, but every dinner he was reciting one.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, every
that's-
time.
That's his
Yeah.
shtick, isn't it? Tim Vine is that they're all like terrible
Obviously they're-
jokes.
Obviously, they're all one-liners because they can't remember too. Very nice, very nice. I watched
This guy is
someone.
having a right go in there. Look at him.
The battle is very much in our
I'll give
favour.
him points for bravery. Look, oh, he's off again. This guy's
Routing.
routed like 3 times.
Is routing just kicking arse and taking names?
Routing is wimping out and running away.
Oh, that's not what we want.
No, he's
I thought
routing.
broken. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, broken. Yeah, broken means they're not coming back at all. Routing means there's a chance he might come back.
He has dashed. He's gone off. Sent an impact, haven't we?
What have? I honestly thought we were going to lose this one, but never mind. Oh well, then let's get in amongst it. What's your name? I think that's Robert. Hello, Robert. Robert?
I remember Robert's not one of the real ones. He's one of the ones we birthed, right? Though he might be a real one, right?
Birthed.
You know what I mean?
Oh, he's back
Sorry.
again. Look at him. Oh, he's like, oh, they've left the gates open. I'm having that. Like, there's still
Bugs.
people inside the town, you muppet. Oh, he's realised that now. He's like, oh shit. Oh, I'm going in anyway. I've come this far. Oh, I've got round
It'd
them.
be so funny if he
I've
took
got
the
round
town.
them. Hang on. Where's Robert? Hi, Robert. Go after him. Oh yes, he's going for it as well. You little turd.
I was gonna say hi ho Platino, but Platino's banana. I mean,
Hi-ho,
Platter is silver.
I was thinking more Leroy Jenkins, to be honest. I think he's done a bit of a Leroy Jenkins here.
Yeah. Don't know what would Spanish Leroy Jenkins be. I was talking to someone about Leroy Jenkins the other day. I don't know why.
Look at him just sitting there. He's like proper proud of
I
himself,
think
isn't he?
was it you? I was just chatting to you about Leroy Jenkins the other day, Jim.
I made
About
that
Archie's
joke in
approach
the
to Battlefield
Jackbox.
Siege.
Oh yeah.
My lord,
I don't
Yeah,
think he realizes
Battlefield.
what's coming up behind him, does he?
like the coward he is.
And down he goes.
Captured the enemy
Well,
general.
Oh,
I'll give him credit. He went out better than the rest of his mates, I guess.
At our leisure.
hanging out in the center of town.
Mm-hmm.
That guy got, I guess.
Did.
Yeah.
Bless him, little Antonio.
Oh, we worked out their name, didn't they? What they called, man? The Jinetes or whatever. We had their names, didn't we? I was like, we saw the Spanish units last time, and they were not kicking us or taking names.
They were
They were
very
very disorganized. It's probably too cool for them. It looks a bit Baltic up here, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. They haven't
I've
fancied it.
never-
They've
I've-
got here and they've
I
went, oh,
haven't-
it's winter. Sod it.
I have never seen a Spaniard that enthusiastic. I mean, they did get enthusiastic about the snow in Madrid this year. Actually, they had that snowstorm, and obviously everyone went mental. Like they just obviously they didn't know what to do with themselves. Like the footage of them driving. Not like we get tons of snow in Newcastle or anything. You know, not in comparison like Canadians. But Jesus, watching the like videos that were doing the rounds of Spaniards trying to drive in snow. Hello, Badged. Ah, that name's too hard to pronounce. This may be as in Badged 45. Hello. Well, we're just talking about how bad Spaniards are at driving in the snow. Well, I am. There's great ones of them like trying to get out of car parks and parking lots and that, and they're just forget the name of the snowstorm. It was earlier on this year, and like Madrid had like a foot of snow, which is just doesn't happen. Down here in the south of Spain, we just got rained. Not on the plane though. What's he doing?
I don't know.
Is he
You heard him like
waiting to
going,
get hit by
advance. The AI's proper stuck. Onward, advance. How am I?
because
Shoot
they
him,
all
he's
speak-
one target. There we go. Down he goes.
They all speak English, don't they?
Like a sack of titties.
Is that the plane you want to die on, mate? Saluador. I've never even heard that name. And Fernando.
They weren't shouting
didn't,
hoo-ha.
the drums, did he?
They were shouting advance, because I think that the AI was trying to make them go forwards, and it wasn't working. It was over for them.
We executing Spaniards again today. 'cause
Oh,
that's what we
let's
did last
ransom
time.
them. Ah, champion.
By God's will, we
Good bit of ransom from these mothers.
Bit of wedge. Spend it on a night out.
Spend it on one of these brothels. Yeah.
Wait, I'm trying to join the crusade, but you're not letting us, are you?
So how do they let you join the crusade? Because
I have to have a big enough
you
army
tell
to
you.
join the crusade in the first place, which
Do they pay you for it though, or is it just your duty?
Is this enough? Yes. Boom. Right, let's get 35 gold. That's it. Right, we'll have a few pilgrims there.
Foreigners, right?
Yeah. Let's get all 6 of them actually, and then let's get some Crusader Knights as well. And let's just pay for that. Look at this.
Those are the,
we are on the way.
because you said you were talking about this. That these guys are cheap because they're just in it for the bants, I guess.
They just want to smash some heathens? No. Are we the heathens? Are they the heathens? Whoever. Right,
They're
let's get
heathens.
around there. Jump on the boat.
We are the
boat
morally
over.
upright. Though Taranum just says that we are accepting offers of marriage whilst discussing visiting brothels.
It's the Middle Ages, Taranum. That's all that's all that happened. Brothels, marriage, and fights.
This is why people get medieval on your ass.
What
Not
happens in
your ass
Newcastle as well,
personally,
right?
just the nondescript, the like nondescript ass, I guess. The anonymous ass.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
I don't know what you
Proverbial.
mean,
There we go.
but sure.
Proverbial ass. You get medieval. Someone gets medieval on your ass, but it's like saying, when in town, you can visit the museums. You doesn't mean you specifically. It's a general you, meaning anybody. One can. So you can get medieval on one's ass, I guess.
Look at this. We've King Gerard de Riedefort has joined King Rufus's retinue. He is a master of the Order of Knights Templar, renowned for surviving his impossibly brave assaults, and he's decided to be our pal. That's nice. Cheers, mate.
The first place that I moved in Spain was a Templar stronghold, and this village was dope because it had like loads of like Assassin's Creed-esque towers all over the place. Like, I'm not even joking, man. It had like 5 major church towers and small wagons and wheelbarrows filled with hay right next to them.
So I'm assuming you just spent the entire time there jumping off tall buildings.
Spent the time getting drunk and not climbing anything.
It's
Too hilly. The place was too hilly.
No.
It wasn't where I was. It wasn't Moorish or Moorish. I couldn't work out how to pronounce this last time either.
Does that mean you just want loads more architecture?
Exactly. This architecture is so Moorish.
I just want tons of it. I just want more and more architecture.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that Moorish. Where I am now in the south of Spain, there's a lot of Moorish influence and like Arabic-esque narrow streets and things like that, designed to keep the sun off you, kind of crack on. But where I first was in the west of Spain, yeah, like the Portuguese border. No, not so much. That was more the classic like whitewashed Spanish buildings rather than like the stuff out of Mamma Mia, I guess, the film, not the ABBA song, which the film is based on and all that crack on. But yeah, no such lovely Moorish architecture. But down here in the Costa del Sol, tons of this stuff.
Ships ready.
Oh, God's sake, we can't attack anyone without being excommunicated.
Which pope is it? Not that I'm going to know anything about him. Going, yeah, I thought so. Thought it was. That seems like
Dickhead
this
the
kind of
10th.
Yes, my lord. I cannot do that.
I don't know. That's
So who are we crusading against?
the Pope is Gregory of the Papal States. He sounds like a knob.
Yeah. He's having us. Did he even tell us who we're crusading against? Because it just said crusade against some dude, like some faction.
It's Egypt. Apparently, we're after Cairo. You know what I don't get, right? We declared war on Scotland. Bang. You might be excommunicated. Denmark attacks us. We get asked to cease hostilities. And then Spain attacks us. Why isn't everyone else getting excommunicated?
Portugal also attacked us.
Why is it just us
Vigo's
that's
got
like
involved.
under threat of excommunication every 5 minutes? I feel like I'm just defending myself here.
Look, to be fair, you could argue we don't know what he's saying to the other ones. He might be telling them exactly the same crack on. He might be taking
I'd like
them
to
to
have
one
an
side and
open
going,
conversation about that.
a bit of a round table.
I'd like to, yeah. Maybe a
Be like,
TV
"Guys, come
debate. That's what I want. A TV debate.
It would end up there. Did you fart in the church, James?
I did fart in the church, but that was a long time ago, long play. I didn't think I would still have that held against us. Oh, ceasefire now, do you? Right, you know what? I'm going to have to accept it because I'm getting sick of being attacked by them. It hurts Prince Robert the Mean. It's a great title. To accept that, but I'm going to accept it so they just stop fighting. Maybe they have been asked to ceasefire, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem like the French, Spanish, and Portuguese have, because they're all descending on Rennes, aren't they? Yeah.
What? Oh, sweet. Denmark's been excommunicated, right?
See, I told you. I didn't think. I thought Gregory was all right. I thought he was a good egg.
You know, I'm gonna smash all these guys as well. Did we win? Damn it, we lost.
Our naval battles auto-resolve in this one, don't they?
They do, yeah.
But in later games, they became a thing, right?
Oni and Empire, Total War.
Is that the one? like
Napoleonic
our
era.
empire. Ah, right.
That's
Well,
actually
everyone's
quite
empire.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
With
the latest
everyone
one,
had an empire.
Yeah, in the latest one, what they did was they changed it to. Let me get this right. I'm going to go through Greece. I think I'm going to get a boat at the bottom of Greece, and then we'll go over.
We'll stop here.
Essentially, when you have a naval battle, you fight it on land nearby. So if there's two like navies with armies attached to them, you fight it as a land battle on an island. So,
So is this like someone cutting you off on the motorway and telling them to pull over the next services so you can have a punch up in the car park?
Pretty much like,
you're like, oi, pull your
get out of the
boat
way.
over.
No, wait, we'll sort it out over there on that island. Aye,
Pull your boat over. Pull over at the next little chef and we'll
have it out.
Come and
Do you remember when we went to Little Chef at 2 a.m. because we wanted to fry up?
Go on a bit of on a mission, yeah. Scotch
That was
corner,
great. That was back in uni. Yeah, that was an hour and
We
a half
picked up
away.
Archie on the way, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, long play. If you don't know what Little Chef is, it's a really bad chain of motorway restaurants in
Don't
the
exist
UK.
anymore.
They shut down. Oh man,
I can't remember seeing one. What
I've been
going
gone
on?
too long.
I have not done anything to Portugal except defend my city, and I'm getting told to stop,
Well, stop
fighting them.
defending. Yeah, but we had
people should stop being
one night in
dicks.
uni, didn't we? It was like 1 or 2 in the morning. We hadn't been drinking or anything. I was just like, could murder a fry up like fried eggs, sausages. They do all day breakfast, so we're like, we fancied a full English breakfast at 2 in the morning. So, well, no, it was about midnight, wasn't it, when we set off, and we gave Archie a call. I'm like, Archie, we're picking you up on the way over. So we drove. I drove down, and we drove like an hour and a half away to get a fry up. It was great.
It's good
But it
fun.
was such a weird, and then dropped off Archie at like 2 in the morning back at his mom's house. It's long play. You can have full English whenever you want, especially if there's motorway service stations that offer it for 24 hours a day. We weren't even on the road. We actually had to go on a road trip just for that. That was the only thing we were driving for.
Yeah. Probably the first
I was
people ever
driving.
to have done that. Not just stopped
Still
over
the only
because
one of
we're on the road.
us. Still the only one of us who can drive. I know you're learning, Jim, but if we want to do it again, it's still going to be me, and it's quite a trek. It's quite the drive from Spain now, from southern Spain to get back
Worth
to
it,
the
though.
northeast of England.
Worth it.
Imagine if I did like a 3-day drive to go to the Scotch Corner Little Chef in the northeast of England.
Be a great trip.
It was not too bad. Never is. Pointless trips out in the car were never pointless. Really, I mean, it's probably much better for Americans though, because at least your petrol is or gas, I guess, is a fraction of the price it is for us. I think the petrol driving down the Little Chef cost us more than the food.
Probably.
Yeah, we need to find more oil, don't we? Can you do it on this? Can you wage wars over oil? I mean, and they don't know it's important yet, but they're gonna need it.
Look at this fella. I don't even remember this was like a thing that happened in the game.
On my game, I don't have a Gerard de Riedfork, but I do have a dog. Apparently, one of my guys' retinue is just a dog. Just him as a dog. Oh, this is not speaking about dogs, right? But so here in Spain, we're actually allowed to go to pubs and that. And I was actually outdoors at a terrace. This is how the COVID thing works over here. So you can gather in groups of 6 outside, 4 inside, in bars, restaurants, socially distanced. Masks have to be on until you're eating or drinking. I saw some people show up to the terrace, like the outdoor seating at the bar, with a cat. But hang on, wait, the dude had the cat on his shoulder, like fucking Long John Silver. This guy walked into the terrace with a cat
Nice.
on his shoulder, sat down. The cat had a little harness on it, but no lead, like no leash or anything like that. He just points at the table. The cat hops off his shoulder, sits on the table, and then he just points to the chair, and the cat just sits in the chair. I'm sat there having my beer, like, what the fuck is in this? Like, am I seeing this? This dude's just brought his cat to the pub. And not only is the cat here in the pub with him, but the cat is like behaving. It's like a trained cat that'll just sit and do what the guy tells it. I was like, I've owned cats. My cat, if I didn't have like fucking salmon in my hand, that cat wasn't gonna stay where I told it to stay. This thing did. And it definitely wasn't gonna walk around on my shoulder like a fucking pirate. In long plays, right, the cat's better behaved than some people I know. The cat is better behaved than all the people I know, long play. I don't know any person who would sit on my shoulder whilst I went from pub to pub. But yeah, it was the maddest thing I saw. It was so mad I almost like forgot it happened. Do you know what I mean? Like where you're like, I must have dreamt that. Nope. Genuine dude taking the cat to the pub. And there was other people who had like their dogs with them. You know, it's quite common for people like bring their dogs, especially like outdoor seating, and they just have their dogs on the lead and they're sat having their drink or their coffee or whatever, and their dog's just sat on the floor next to them. But like, this cat was just not bothered. This cat was just sat there. The waiter brought it like some water, and
Apparently,
I was wondering if they were going to bring it some craft beer or something as well. I was wondering what this seemed like a cat that would like craft. I feel like microbrew cat.
It seems like paper's been invented.
Finally, Jesus.
So the Spanish have adopted it from the Moors. That paper's very Moorish, though, isn't it?
Moorish.
Once you've seen it, you want more of it.
I'll tell you what, I do know one things. One things. Yep. I don't know how to agree.
Can't talk, but yeah, sure.
Can't speak. I can't agree. Like noun plurality, but you know whatever. But yeah, I do know something about.
Definitely sounds like a t-shirt. He's right. Sorry to cut you off.
What, the microbrew cat sounds like a
yeah,
t-shirt?
that could
Oh, man,
100% be a t-shirt. Oh my, what's happening? Go.
And if we had if we set up a what's it called, like a Teespring store, I think microbrew cat is gonna be on it.
Because cats definitely sound like if animals did drink alcohol, they'd hang out at microbrews, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah, they'd hang out in like tap rooms and that.
Did they?
I was chatting with me today,
just die.
telling them about how cool like tap rooms are, but like that seems like a very cat thing to do.
100%.
Just sit around in microbrews and stuff.
Turn their nose up at regular beers and just be like, no, sorry, I'm a microbrew cat.
Slurping up Carling and Foster's and you know Bud Light, but cats would. Longplay says cats would drink microbrews in climbing gyms. Is that a thing?
To be fair, I'd probably do that.
Do you remember the gym where we did taekwondo for like 2 weeks and they had really good Danish pastries?
Yeah.
The health club. Was it the health club? Like when we were like 14, 15, we did like 2 weeks of taekwondo. Actually, I think you did 2 and I did 3.
We are lethal warriors in close combat now because of that.
Yeah. No, I remember we were like, I guess too old to be starting, but not old enough to be like a late starter. Do you know what I mean? Like when you, like if you're an adult taking up something, you're just an adult taking up something. But we were like youngish teens, I remember, and it just meant we had to get paired off with like 6-year-old white belts, and sparring was just weird because you were like sparring with people half your height who could still kick your ass, but like you had to like pretend that it was a challenge, like get a hit on them. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that? Like kind of like keeping them at arm's reach.
Yeah, doing the hand on the head thing with the midget.
Yeah. What are you gonna do about you 6-year-old kid who's like way better at taekwondo than us?
Oh no, the Inquisition's come to try and kill me merchant.
What was the Inquisition, by the way? I know no one suspects it, but was that when they were just going around rounding up non-Catholics, or am I thinking of someone else?
Here's one, look, an Inquisitor. So his job is to go around and he like basically tries people to see how faithful they are, and if he deems them not to be, he burns them at the stake.
Oh, so it's like that Red Dwarf episode with the Inquisitor who goes around to see if their life was worth value.
There you go. Samuel Black was found innocent at trial.
Good.
What a piece of shit. Burn him at the stake? Let's burn
Is
the
that what they
Inquisitor.
did? They just dashed around like being dicks to people about. about how Catholic they were.
Yeah. You're not
Yeah.
Catholic enough.
That doesn't seem very nice. Who made them the boss of the? Did the Pope give them any right to do it? Although they just like
Maybe.
having a big swinging competition to show how Catholic they were. That they had like a team of Catholic provers.
Catholic botherers. God botherers.
Your Highness. On my way.
On my way. Okie
Tell you what I do.
Yes, sire.
Longplay says, welcome to 1000 to 1750. Longplay it still goes on. It's over here in Spain. I guess it's the start of Holy Week. Is it Holy Week yet? It's about to start. In the main street here, it's really funny because they can't have the processions this year, where they carry like giant statues of Jesus and Mary everywhere. Where they have these massive like, they're called thrones. And they have like 40 odd people carrying them, and it is like.
You guys wait till Holy Week to do that. That's just Tuesday afternoon for me.
You know what? Back in the day when people were allowed out and stuff like that, they also used to like practice. There'd be days where like I can't walk down this street because there's a 10-foot Jesus being carried by 40 blokes in the middle of the street, blocking it off. Like but so they don't have it this year. So in the main street, they've put up like, I guess like a photography display of the ones that would have come out. So it's like, here's the Virgin of Mercy, and it's a picture of the statue that were brought out of the Virgin Mary. All this crack on.
Your Majesty.
That's like one where it's called the Virgin of Humility and Patience, but it's still a giant gold statue. I'm like, how humble is that? Is that really that humble? Having like it weighs a ton, like a literal ton. This thing, a gold statue that weighs a ton. I don't think is that humble. You know what? Like I don't want to get scripture on their ass, but it's kind of like rich man, kingdom of heaven, eye of camel through the eye of a needle, kind of crack on. It's that kind of thing. Also, it definitely wasn't sponsored by Burger King, which this one is. It says literally at the bottom of these photos, it says brought to you by Burger King, in Spanish, but it still says it's like, here's the Virgin of Humility and Patience, brought to you by Burger King. I'm like,
yeah,
cool.
It's not a religious festival if it's not sponsored by a fast food outlet, though, is it?
The Virgin of the Whopper, I guess. Yeah, it's they are. I guess it's an event. If you're around this neck of the woods, it is something to see and be annoyed by if you're not that into it, because it shuts down the entire city, and you can't walk anywhere in the city centre because there are ongoing processions for an entire week they're not fast because they're carrying like a ton of a big golden idol in it, as Longplay says. But yeah, I personally won't miss it this year. But I did like the fact that you could have a religious idol sponsored by Burger King, and one sponsored by an olive oil delivery company, which was like the most Spanish thing I've ever read. I was like, that's amazing. I love the idea. It's like deliver olive oil on like, I don't know, like takeout. Like takeout olive oil. You just like ring up and like, yeah, I need a liter of this stuff. I'm doing a paella. Like, I don't know.
Well, we made it all the way over to Egypt, Joe. I think that might be the best point to stop the stream.